So let's verbalize the trick against searching for keys.
Okay, Vera, let's call it the key trick. All I have to do is to consciously plan where to put my keys, and I'll find them later. And if my father-in-law were to consciously decide to push the glasses up his nose onto his forehead, rather than doing it unconsciously, then he wouldn't have to go looking for his glasses all the time either. And I have a neighbor who's constantly looking for his bowling ball. I must admit, he is a bit chaotic in general, but he finds most things readily enough, with the exception of his bowling ball.
I bet if you ask him, you'll find that his mind is already on other things when he gets back from bowling.
Or when he's packing the trunk of his car for the next trip, he may misplace the carrying case with the bowling ball. Most likely because he's so intent on what he's packing, he doesn't construct anything he's unpacking. It's so simple once you understand.
So the first key trick, or anti-losing things trick, is to consciously register where you place things. But there's more. The second anti-losing things trick is to find a regular place to put the objects you tend to just drop and to place them there always.
That's nifty, because if I always place them there, I'll do so automatically, meaning even without consciously watching over my actions, right?
Right. But to reach this state of bliss, 2 prerequisites have to be met.
First, I have to choose the place.
Or create one. I had to put a nail right next to the door, and I learned to place the keys there when entering my home. So ever since, I have never again, and I do mean never again, looked for my keys in my house.
So I might want to stick an adhesive-backed hook next to my door because I have tiles there and I wouldn't want to use a nail. It makes sense. And the second prerequisite?
You need to train yourself to use this place. Count on about 6 weeks for a permanent change in behavior, one that is going to stick even when you're tired.
Or when the phone is ringing as I enter the house.
Yes, although there's a third trick to help you through your training.
What's that?
The anti-losing things trick number 3 is this. Place one of these movement signaling devices on which you can record a message, a few seconds. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I've seen them advertised. A wife can place it at the kitchen door, and when her husband comes home, he might hear her voice telling him that the food is in the fridge.
Or that she's left him.
I get the idea.
Anyway, if you place one of these contraptions in the area of choice, like right beside the entrance door, and if your own voice tells you to hang the key on the hook, you'll learn very quickly.
And I can reuse this device for later learning tasks. Yes.
Now let's think of your father-in-law with his glasses. When does he tend to shove them onto his forehead?
Let me see. I know. When his hands are smudged. Oh, he works with clay a lot.
And when does he tend to look for them?
Oh, yes. Well, he's looking for them sitting in his favorite chair, wanting to look at the TV guide. So he could place the movement device on his way to his chair, and it could ask him, are your glasses on your forehead, or something like that. That's wonderful.
Now, for the next anti-losing things trick, number 4. We also need a strategy for times where we aren't at home or in the office or the trailer or familiar places. Those times we can't learn to put things at a fixed location.
Like when traveling. I'm always looking for things in my hotel room. Of course, I can reduce that greatly by consciously deciding where to put them. Trick number 1.
I suggest for certain things to find a place on your body, or for women in a handbag, which will be identical no matter where you might be today.
Yes, I've recently learned to hook my keys onto my belt. I used to always drop them anyplace, at home or in the office, and now that's a thing of the past. Thanks again.
But many others have the opposite problem. They already have a fixed place at home, but haven't learned yet to find a fixed place on the go. I strongly suggest using a spring hook and clip things either to your belt or to one of these small saddlebags people wear like a belt.
Oh, it sounds good. But if the ladies are going to use their handbags, then we're back to the problem of them searching forever.
Not with anti-losing things trick number 5. Fasten a short chain, say about 4 inches, onto one of the handles of each handbag and place a spring hook at its end.
Oh, that's great. That way she can clip the key ring onto the hook and drop the whole thing into her handbag. Only later she'll simply pull the chain and find it as quickly as any guy who's got this key hook to his belt. I like that.
I first came up with that trick during a hotline telephone conversation with a reader of my coaching letter. Later, I published her question and my answer, and in the meantime, another woman has told me that she now has 3 chains with spring hooks on the handles of every handbag she owns. One for the keys, one for a spare pacifier for the baby. It's in a little plastic container with a hook so it stays clean, and the third one for her cell phone, which she used to look for frantically when it was ringing in her bag.
Yes, that's great. So as of now, we have 7 anti-old age tricks, 5 tricks for a better name memory, and another 5 tricks for the lost and found department of your life. So that's 17 tricks so far. Furthermore, we have talked about more tricks in these sessions already, like how to plan and train our rituals for times of stress, etc. Are there any more?
Well, there are more than twice that many, but we might want to take a little break. What do you think?
Sure, but let's pick the topic before we break.
We will discuss the first 4 goals we had formulated for this course, and they deal with 4 forms of learning. Number 1, how to improve your general knowledge, which means widening your memory web dramatically, but without studying or reading. This is a special form of learning I devised for people who don't like to or can't find the time to read, and who do want to widen their memory web.
Because the bigger the web, the more threads we'll have to different subjects, and the more things will seem simple to us as a consequence. It makes sense. And the other 3 forms of learning?
Number 2, how to greatly improve your vocabulary, also without studying in the normal sense. I will show you a passive way and an active game routine.
Sounds good too. But then we also wanted to talk about conscious studying, like in school, college, or courses a company might enroll you in.
Right. That's number 3. How to take in great amounts of facts in a brain-friendly fashion using everything we've learned so far. And then there's the practical parallel. Number 4.
Oh,
how to train.
I remember. How to improve any skill through training. Yes, I'm quite interested to get into these 4 questions after our little break.
I'll see you in a moment then.